Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, which is all about how to up-level your portfolio so you can charge more premium rates as a copywriter. Now, these tips are not things that you absolutely have to do. You can definitely start your copywriting career without a fancy portfolio. I definitely got my first clients using work samples, and as I got better and better, I started putting everything together into a portfolio. However, it does make you look super professional and presentable. So if you find that for some reason it doesn't seem like clients are accepting your initial proposals, if it feels like you have some work samples but they could look better or be stronger, today's tips are going to help you pull everything together, elevate your portfolio, and enable you to demonstrate your value so brands will pay you more premium rates for your services. Okay? And so I hope these are really helpful to you. The first one is to watch for a variety of samples. Now, you may want to work specifically in blogs, but if you're working in the realm of content marketing, sometimes it's helpful to be able to show that you have written in a variety of formats. Maybe you want to include different blogs, case studies, guides, webinars, ebooks, anything in that realm. The other thing that you can watch for is maybe you have one type of work, like if you really want to only write blog posts, go ahead and just include those, but maybe you show a variety of different industries. I know that when writers are pitching me, it makes it much easier for me to see and imagine them as a fit for certain clients if they're already showing me examples in that industry. Whereas if they only have one type of industry or one type of project, it's hard for me to trust and know that they're going to be able to easily take on something super different. So it just helps where if you feel like you have the bandwidth or you want to experiment with different formats, go ahead and do that. Make your portfolio more robust by including a variety of kinds of writing. Or if you feel like you really want to narrow in on one type of writing and that feels good to you, then see what else you can do to widen the amount of industries or types of different clients that you work with in that realm. Does that make sense? The second thing that I want you to think about is adding a design element. So I know that we are writers, we shouldn't necessarily be judged on being graphic designers, but the truth is your portfolio conveys how well you pay attention to things like attention to detail, to editing, to even just the structure, like your eye in terms of thinking through content. And so if you have a portfolio that has solid writing but just looks really disjointed, or some things are capitalized and some things aren't, or it just doesn't feel like there's enough white space or breathing room, it just doesn't represent you and your brand as well as it could. And so I really think it pays to either work with a template that a designer's already made so you know it's going to look good and have some design element. You could work with a template even online if it's not a PDF, but it's more of an online portfolio. Sometimes those will help you build something out of the box. Or you could invest in a graphic designer who can spend a few hours polishing the work samples that you have or putting them together into something that looks really good. It's also worthwhile to use your editing skills here. I know this goes without saying, but you'd be surprised just how people miss little things in their emails or their pitches, maybe a grammatical thing here, a period there, and I'm sure in the moment it was something so small, but for a brand that's looking at you and trusting you with their content and with their clients, they really want to know that you are watching for those things, and because that means you will do it on their behalf. So give your samples a really good look again. Make sure that they are edited to the utmost and make sure everything in your portfolio or your portfolio website is also edited with that lens. The other thing that I want you to think about doing is wherever possible, instead of showing just your work samples or just the kinds of projects that you worked on, think about how you can demonstrate the result that you delivered as well. So, for example, instead of saying, I wrote social media posts, what did those social media posts do for that brand? Did they drive in 5,000 more followers? Did you get a 30% increase in engagement or comments or things like that? You know, if you worked on a few blog posts for a company, can you get any data around what those blog posts did for that company? How much more did the website traffic increase? Did people start to leave more comments on the blog? Did they get more inquiries or more leads for their sales team? All of those things are going to start demonstrating to brands the value that they can attach to having you on their team. So instead of them thinking, oh, it's going to cost me this to have this copywriter, they're going to think, I can make this by investing in this copywriter. All of a sudden they're thinking about what they can earn and what your true value is versus what your cost is. So that's a really important thing, and that's something that I teach my students to do throughout their LinkedIn, throughout their social media profiles, their resumes, but definitely in their portfolio where brands are looking and they're seeing how well you can write, but subconsciously they're also looking for what you can help them accomplish as a brand. All right, so think about those things as you're building your portfolio. One, do you have a variety of work samples, either in the types of work or the types of industries and clients? Two, do you have that design aesthetic? Have you edited everything as much as you can to make it look really polished and professional? And then three, are you not only showing what you did, but what your results were from those actions? Those things are really going to go a long way for making a portfolio that sells your value, that shows how amazing you are, that makes brands really want to work with you and want to pay you the rates that you deserve. All right, and that's the biggest thing, is it's not about getting paid more than what you're worth. It's really about accurately showing the value that you deliver to these brands and making sure that if you're an amazing writer, if you know you can do this stuff, that your pitch and that your samples and your portfolio are showing brands that that's true, because they don't know you yet. And so you really need to use this as your storefront and as your way to show how attentive to detail you are, how thoughtful, how put together, how professional. And that stuff is really going to go a long way in getting brands to really want to work with you and using that portfolio as your first handshake, so to speak, in making that relationship. I hope this is helpful. Make sure you check out the resources below for more tips on how to start building a copywriting business and hit the 6-figure mark in your first year. Have a wonderful rest of your day.